So, my obsession with Ysera Unleashed continues. I've already played this card in two other decks. You've seen a standard deck and a wild deck featuring Ysera Unleashed. It's one of my favourite cards of the Descent of Dragons expansion, and so I crafted her in golden form. Now, this third deck that I'm playing featuring Ysera is another Jade Druid. But this Jade Druid has a couple of interesting differences. Fandral Stag Helm is in this deck. I've not seen Fandral played competitively for about a year and a half now. King Phaoris is in this deck because we have big spells. So you could have a massive power turn where you play the king and you suddenly get this massive board that your opponent cannot deal with. So we're going to look at this deck in action across two different games. Notice also that the Zuldrak Ritualist is in this deck instead of Hecklebot or Ironwood Golem. Okay, let's start out joining this game in progress. So Ysera Unleashed. We shuffle the Dream Portals into our deck.
Impressively done.
Now, he's a Mecha'thun Warlock. And I would argue that we are heavily unfavoured because he can cycle through his deck very quickly. He can tap for cards, he can find his combo ever so quickly. And pull off his combo before we get a chance to develop a significant board with our Jade Golems. So basically what I'm saying is we die to combo before we can smash him in the face with big green men.
Sleep now.
And he's already pulled off the Emperor discount, which must mean he has Mecha'thun and Bloodbloom in hand. That's an impressive dragon. We've got one impressive dragon and one small dragon on the board. We need to use the spell up so we don't overdraw. But we have two ways of winning this game. Ysera's dragons can create a substantial board presence, which can mean that we go face and we win and he hasn't got a response to it before he pulls off his combo. Or we have the king in our hand, and maybe, just maybe, that board presence could win us the game before he pulls off the Mecha'thun combo. Now if he's happy to mill cards here,
Impressively done.
for sure he has the combo in hand and he's just waiting to draw the rest of his deck. Alright, the king comes down, and that's actually a pretty good board. And by the way, we've seen Twisting Nether. He's a Reno deck, which means he's not going to be running a second copy. So how do you deal with this? That's the question.
I wonder.
Oh wow. Uses Cataclysm. And I believe that's just lost in the game because he's lost Mecha'thun. And he needed Cataclysm for his combo. So yes, this game is over now.
This be some bad.
The question is, why hasn't he conceded?
If I must.
Well, I'm happy for him. He's completed his quest, so good for him.
Darkness rises.
somehow I don't think that Void Lord is going to do it. So now it'll be a mixture of Jade Golems that we grow and some dragons that we draw onto the board that should see us through to the end. I really do like Ysera Unleashed as an alternate win condition in Jade Druid.
Save the ritual!
Because it does take time to grow the Jade Golems. But having one turn where you can throw a whole lot of dragons onto the board, especially big dragons, can just be game winning. So, I don't think there's a perfect card he can find here to win him the game. I mean, the perfect card would be to undo the last few turns and get his combo back. But he can't do that. And maybe he thinks going wide on this board will see him through somehow. I was considering spreading Plague, but this is fine. So, what do we get? That's not too bad.
I can't hold all these.
And I don't care about milling those cards. I don't even care about milling Malfurion, because look, we have so much value in our hand. We could lose the rest of our deck and still win this game off of this hand that we've got. And respect to him for carrying on with this game. I mean, it's a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. A Desperation Godfrey is not going to save him, obviously. But what's the last card in his hand? Oh, Demon Wrath.
You win this time.
Okay, let's have a look at a full game here.
Here for a
I'm going up against a mage. Now at rank 2, it's either Secrets Mage or it's Reno Mage. In all honesty, I prefer Reno Mage if they don't run Skulking Geist. Because they play an initial slow game, we play a slow game initially, but we can outlast them.
if I must.
Now one thing that does confuse me in this deck is Biology Project. It's ramp, but the problem is you give mana crystals to your opponent. And in this situation here, I certainly do not want to give Secrets Mage more mana to play with. Because it just means they can do more stuff
If I must.
and push more aggression. We don't want that. However, I do have an idea of how Biology Project could come in handy.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
We just need to get our timing correct with it. Yep, and that's what I was hoping for. So, Biology Project has triggered Counterspell. And it served a purpose there because it's protected Jade Idol, it's protected Oaken Summons. Those two spells I can now play. I mean, obviously, there will be a second counter spell in the deck. But for now, I think we're safe. Yeah, so maybe that is what Biology Project is useful for. Triggering counter spell, and Vargoth here, absolutely significant. Behold!
This be some bad.
And we get a taunt.
avail.
And that was worthy of an emote, because it's Secrets Mage. So, Fandral and Wrath potentially is a play for us next turn. But against the Secrets Mage now, we're building up the armour, and that's so important. It's going to help us survive. There's a possibility that if we can keep up the armour gain, that his burn just simply cannot get through.
I'm late. I'm late.
And I do feel that if you are evaluating a deck in Wild these days, putting it up against Secrets Mage, that's a test, right? That's the real test. If you could beat Secrets Mage, if your deck can stand up to them and win, then your deck is probably a good deck in the current Wild meta climate. Okay. That's really bad for us. I was hoping it wasn't duplicate, but we've got punished there. Perhaps I should have targeted
An incredible discovery.
Medivh's Valet. Perhaps I misplayed there, because now he's going to put down
I'm late. I'm late.
2 Crystal Runners.
I'm late. I'm late.
We have Poison Seeds though as a counter. But there is a secret up, and I played the Branching Paths to test for the counter spell. Maybe I should have played the Jade Idol. I mean, if I'd lost that Jade Idol, is it the end of the world? Because we do have other threats in this deck. We have Ysera Unleashed. We have the King sitting in our hand. So maybe I need to think about my ordering there. But we know that is now a different secret. It's not counter spells, so we can pull off Poison Seeds if we desire. The question is, do I want to do that now? Do I want to Poison Seeds now? Or should I be a bit more greedy? I'm going to be a little bit more greedy. See, I'm now scared that one of those secrets is duplicate. Hence, my reason for playing the Ritualist. So I could trade into and kill a 1-cost minion. But he gets the bloody Divine Shield. So that didn't work out very well for me. I would happily have traded into a Flame Imp, because then he's got to play it twice and he does damage to his own face. Okay, so next turn, 10 mana. It comes down to the King, or Ultimate Infestation, or maybe even Poison Seeds, I don't know. Can we nerf Aloneth, please? Seriously, it needs to cost 10 mana, not 6. And we get Tyrantus onto the board. That is pretty amazing. So I was feeling somewhat confident about this game.
I'm late.
Especially with Poison Seeds and Spreading Plague in hand. But now Aloneth is just going to refill his hand turn after turn.
The light dims, but we fight.
And actually I thought giving him a 1-drop back to hand with duplicate was a good thing.
The power is here.
Turns out that Divine Shield is pretty annoying to get through. So, we're in a bit of a precarious position here.
We protect our own.
To the void.
Trying to decide on how to trade.
We protect our own.
Unfortunately, it looks like that Tyrantus is going to be doing trading rather than going face.
Tasty.
I suppose Ultimate Infestation is the way to go here. I think I screwed up with my trades. Tyrantus could have taken one less damage there. So I really should have thought that turn through and thought about using the UI on the 5 attack minion. And traded Tyrantus into the 4 attack minion. Yeah, that was a misplay. There's a fireball. And we know he has one more in his deck.
I'll show them. I'll show them
The
all.
light dims, but we fight.
I'm going to assume
You play with
that he doesn't play torches in his deck, which would be a good thing for us, obviously. We need to dodge the next fireball somehow, or dodge being killed by it.
To the void.
We protect our own.
And once again, this Tyrantus is going to have to do some trading. Because we do not care about face damage at this point.
We protect our own.
All we care about is keeping the board clear and healing as best as we can. Okay, 6 armor. There's essentially heal for 6
Protect our own.
in this situation.
You know.
Again, we're not going to go face because we're thinking about Flame Ward. And as I say, we don't care about his face.
You're not ready.
All we care about is our health and the board. Fatigue will kill him soon. Our board doesn't need to kill him. We can wait for fatigue.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
Because one of those secrets is probably also Ice Block. But fatigue, well, it just gets through Ice Block. It doesn't care.
We have many secrets.
Revel in the power.
Okay, double overflow in hand here. Alright, that is the counter spell. Pretty good. Both counter spells are now gone. We're happy about that. We get rid of what we can. And we do some healing. Okay,
I'm almost out of cards.
so with your final fireball, what else do you have to go with it? Okay, Cloud Prince. And there it is, there's a second fireball. So, second Cloud Prince, second fireball.
The power is here.
And he puts me to 3. Wow. So credit to him,
You win.
or credit to the deck, for still being able to do, you know, such ridiculous amounts of damage. Okay, so this Jade Druid deck. It's fun. it's fun. It works. It's a slightly different strategy to the previous Jade Druid deck that I played about a week and a half ago. I don't know which deck I prefer more. I find King Phaoris quite an interesting addition to the deck. I find Fandral quite a compelling addition to the deck. I really have been convinced now that the Zul'Drak Ritualist is superior to the Golem and superior to the Hecklebot. The Hecklebot is problematic in that it can just put a ridiculous threat onto the board from your opponent's deck that you can't deal with. Whereas the Zul'Drak Ritualist has more health than the Hecklebot and the Golem. And at the same time, it's putting 1-drops onto, or 1-cost minions onto your opponent's side of the board, which perhaps you can deal with through Starfall, for instance. The previous Jade Druid deck that I played a week and a half ago utilised Swipe, and that was a good combo with the Ritualist. This deck does not have Swipe in it, perhaps feeling that it doesn't need Swipe. But anyway, still a strong deck, still an impressive deck, and of course it plays Ysera Unleashed, which in itself is an amazing thing. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, and I will see you all again very soon, as always, for more One Mode fun.